Omo no wearing anything here. Edeme deniari yami. How na dey my people? Yes, I come out on time today because video wey we wan listen so I really think it's like how many minutes I don't know. So but a lot of points did that particular video because all these lies when Seki Oghioba they want the because of all these lies. Now the reason of this meet and greet, they call them meet and greet lies, meet and lies, meet and lies. All these meet and lies, we ready to the debunker, and we go to expose everything out. Today at the past 7, and I really give good dose to our comrade Izodowa. Because not be today is start time. He don't tell when Izodowa they talk about all these things. He don't tell. But Seki Oghioba don't draw our attention. Say, make we begin go bring all the books come aside. So, when I go begin the year from our comrade Izodowa. And tomorrow, by the special grace of God, he go day live with us tomorrow by 8 o'clock. Other matter day, where we want to hear. All right. Make una listen to we start from here.
John Adun stated that Godwin Obaseki should come to Benin City to explain himself instead of staying in the diaspora and be throwing stones to the exalted kingdom. He said Benin Kingdom is one of the oldest kingdoms in the world, adding that any form of aspersion to the palace of the Oba of Benin is an affront to the entire people of the kingdom.
The palace was created almost 400 years, and that's the big one. If you want to talk, let me come to Nigeria. Not be the one where they talk over Bodo Ibu. He doesn't have anything to say about the Oba of Benin. Oba of Benin is everybody's father. Everybody's father. Not be the one where they talk to our Oba of Benin anyhow. Bodo Ibu, they speak a drama there. No, let it come. You should come and talk in Edo State. He said that their forefather made the kingdom there. It's a lie. Their forefather, it goes beyond the boundary. Beyond the boundary. Yeah. Nobody in Edo State don't know Obaseki history.
Chief Adun lauded the developmental strides of Edo State Governor Monday Okpebholo. He listed the various projects now undergoing execution across Edo State and advised former Governor Godwin Obaseki to refrain from making inflammatory statements against the current administration. Chief Adun said the governor is committed to continuous welfare of staff and pensioners in Edo State.
You should come and see the work of what they do. People don't get that path, we get now. People don't get a proper, we get now. School, you get better road, we get. It's about to do all these things for us.
Lately, former Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki has been moving around some parts of Europe where he has been making unfounded statements and trying to blackmail the Benin royal throne.
Unayeram. I think you were yadame. Unayeram. All this meeting, it get where we go do all these part reach. We get where we go do this part reach. If not for us to come advise Obaseki people, their generation, if they don't know what to do, if not for us to come advise them what to do, we go begin to advise them. This meet and Oghioba people, so when they say they don't want leave, Seki Oghioba don't finish governor. Where you for do governor different? Where you for go they meet, it different. When I say I'm say all the plan towards our big house, God not let them if for freedom. When they see them now, when we go to talk, people go to say, all these people will they talk for talking sake. See the plan of Seki Oghioba. See where till you go they talk for meet and Oghioba people. All of una they listen to them. Una the year waiting they talk. All a target in our big house. And we won't let una know Even in Papa, no good head for this head when Ovorame, our Baba no help Obaseki. The important head, even the house where they did for Ekmenede, number 10 for Ekmenede, now Ovorame dash on that house. Wait till you say make Ovorame do for you. Go reach to that extent, Ovorame marry wife give you, dash you wife. Not be one wife, not be two, they dash you. How Seki Oghioba, una when they say not be Oghioba, not be betrayer, una go listen to this particular video. Let's say I won't just play the video finish. I not get anything when I want to talk for this video. I want make we put them, we'll put them for record. Una don't go push Izoduwa, don't go push her. Una push her to that extent now, you don't carry book come out. All what is Seki Oghioba do, aho. Very soon now we'll carry matter, we'll carry and go Gaius. They say if you hear Gaius history, if you hear what Gaius do Gaius or Baseki, if you hear what he do, if you see you will swear to la senkwe. What to la senkwe? They go why what palace do now? When make Obaseki generation come out, come talk only one good thing when they don't do for palace. May Seki Oghioba generation come out, come talk only one thing when they don't do. Just say that this thing they don't do for palace. May they come talk only one. But when I go listing now, how Ovorame, how palace don't help these Obaseki people. I don't help them. When I say I'm not saying our Baba don't come, Baba swallow. He said make it come Benin. Come Nigeria. Not be all those Oghioba people, your family, we don't enter the vice. We will not go, they sit down, they talk rubbish. Come like go talk for Benin. I could not come Benin go talk. You said that. When we will talk, people will say, waiting with the talk not being all right. Make we carry our brother come. Make we carry our brother come, make he come talk to us. Carry puff come. You when they all the look me and carry puff come. May you sit down. Carry puff. Not go anywhere.
Additional and administrative head of the Edo people. All right. So since we lost our sovereignty when they started playing democratic, all right, during the reign of additional and administrative Prince Osuyi talked about. So why I'm trying to do this scope of discussion, if there's anything left out, why tamame igbon yoto, you might need to understand why tamame. I'm going to write it down so that I touch all of it. Where some of you have also done research, where you are not too clear about, we're also going to talk about it. So why time I add it to a scope of discussion. Like I said, it's quite going to be very it's quite going to be a lengthy conversation. Then so the third one, which is the major one, which is the reason why we are here, the third scope of conversation is Godwin Obaseki fact check on his allegation. So there, within that apparatus of Godwin Obaseki fact check on his allegation, we are going to talk about three things. The withheld salary that Niaya deceived here, I'm going to talk about it briefly. That probably I'm going to run through that one in 10-15 minutes. I'm going to give practical example. I'm going to run through that withheld salary. I'm just going to talk about, so that they didn't say I talked about a lot of things and I didn't talk about the salaries that were withheld and all of that. I'm going to talk about that. Then I'm also going to talk about, under that, I'm also going to talk, please remind me, all the scope. Under that, I'm also going to talk about politics. The policies I'm talking about is that the postulation that Oba of Benin gets involved in politics. All right? Oba of Benin gets involved in politics. So I'm going to also talk about that. So quickly, so to ginger us for what I want to talk about, that Oba Benin getting involved in politics. The question I want to ask, so that by the time I get there, you people will have a whole lot to talk about, so people can prepare their question. So before I get to that area of politics that Oba Benin or Bayowa is getting involved in politics, so I want to first of all throw this question out. So why Agbon Yoto? So why Agbon Yoto? Only. So you fact check. I want to also send message to their camp. Also fact check me. Since we lost our sovereignty in 1897, no Oba of Benin that has not gotten involved in politics. In short, Obas of Benin by birth are politicians. By birth. Anybody should fact check me. No Oba of Benin since, I'm talking about Bayaweka II, Oba Akenzwa II, Oba Erediawa, and the current Oba. No Oba. And don't forget, the Oba is the political, traditional, and administrative head of the Edo people. All right? So since we lost our sovereignty, when they started playing democratic, all right, during the reign of Bayaweka did Otonario in 1933. So am I independence? Am I really was a politics or man? But be that as it be, the kind of colonial politics that played during when Oba Eweka II was crowned in 1914 to when Otonario in 1933. And the colonial politics of Eweka will play. Then when you're not talking about the democratic politics after we got in our independence, Oba Akenzwa was a master of politics. All right? Oba Erediawa also play politics. We are going to look at all of that. So why shouldn't Oba Eweka play politics? When the Oba of Benin is the political head, the traditional, administrative, political, cultural head of the Edo people. So why shouldn't he play politics? So, like I have said, let them fact check me. These are facts. These are facts. I challenge them to name any Oba from creation or that has never played politics. So we want to start dealing. We are no longer, they said we should start dealing with facts. We want to start dealing with facts. So that is what Izodua have said. There is no Oba Benin that has never got involved in politics, that doesn't play politics. Anybody can fact check me. Oba Erediawa should we not be remind them what was the Igbenediamwe Egwari Kotiba? What was the culmination of Oyegumedia?
Wow.
All of those things not politically undertuned.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about that. During the time of Oba Erediawa, you were hearing the Esok Bank's announcement on political matters. Abi?
Yes,
Abi any politics? Okay. So why should Oba Eweka be so Oba Eweka want to be, you people want to now boss him to a corner. On Isunu, a politics in Egwani play moving forward. So, like I said, fact check. Don't talk briefly. We are talking about facts. So if any of you comes out, if Obaseki comes out or any of you, when I mean most of his following am year school. So if any of you come out to fact check and come out and say the Tory, then we'll enter history. So Yasevana will give more details. We'll give more details about that, right? Then that is Roman figure 1. Then Roman figure 2 will not talk about history. The history that is said that without our Obaseki, the Benin monarchy would have come to an end. Or he wanted to say, boy, that our Obaseki wanted to end the Benin monarch.
You are right.
Or the Benin monarchy. That our had end there. But he now reversed it. So we're also going to look at that with facts. That is the that is what's going to take longer time. That probably will take like an hour. Then number 4, we're going to talk about Godwin Obaseki meet and greet, the hidden agenda of his meet and greet All right, I want to expose a lot of things about him. Every single prediction I've done about this man 5 years ago, 4 years ago, go and check all my videos. Or where ya. So you have the baby with another prediction. What his intents are. There's a greater intention. All right, there's a greater intention. It's not the talking about the palace was just a distraction. It has an intention. We're going to talk about that. The hidden agenda strategy to dissolve it. Because it's not about getting an agenda. The strategy to also dissolve it. We're also going to talk about that. Then, we have to re-strategize.
Very important.
All right. And the concept of the Oghioba tag, we have to look at that.
Okay.
The pro-palace strategy, we have to re-strategize. Our strategies currently, they are not giving results. I also want to say how we are going to get results. So that's going to be the 5th thing we are going to talk about. Now, the 6th one is quite very important. It's the palace and Okpebolo. A unity that should never be broken. Because when I'm talking about the meet and greet, there is a sinister agenda of Obaseki to come in between the palace and Okpebolo. That is the futuristic game. Actually, that's his plan B. His plan A. I will talk about his plan A. I will talk about his plan B. So there I'm going to talk about, in all that happens, we must ensure that the palace and Okpebolo must never quarrel. And I will tell you the advantages and the disadvantages that's going to come from it. All right? So, I think these are the scope. It's quite lengthy. So, these are the scope. So, let's start. Okay. Yeah, one make it.
One me, Baba. One me, Onagima. I'm not feeling people like that.
A Pamasha, Voice of Benin, I see him, he's right here. He talked about the Obaseki coming from Unsukwa. That is correct. But that is when a cycle, what you call a cycle, wherever you meet a cycle could be the beginning or the ending. All right? So, the concept of the grandfather of Ago or the great-grandfather of Ago coming from Unsukwa, it's an half-cycle phenomenon. There is a full cycle. All right? Originally, Uswe Iviedo, Nikba no, Edo, they went to establish. In short, according to Dr. Waisen Hagwosa, one of the sons of Obarogba, who was called Prince Obano. Don't forget, 5 years ago, say 5 years ago, no, that 5 years ago, I had queried. You know, they have www.obaseki.org or obaseki.com. You people go and check it out. I don't know whether they have changed it. But about 4 or 5 years ago, I stumbled on the website. I think I stumbled on Nuhundan Pedro Obaseki. It talked about their website. So I went to the website. And when I got to the website, I discovered they said that they were descendants of Oba Buddha. I faulted that history at that time. I did a video and I said that I do not fault that if you're Bawahim, but you are not descendant of Oba Buddha.
Oh,
because
your head.
I'm quite conversant with the history of the land. The history of the land had said Oba Buddha had 2 children, a male and a female, Princess Isiwa and Prince Odogbo, who had later become Oba Ohuan. But at that time, Oba Ohuan. So how then are you descendants of Oba Buddha, except Oviohu Wahin? That was how I queried their history at that time. But later on, I now found out that probably could have been a typographical error or whatever. They are descendants of Oba Orogboa. Obarogba had a son called Prince Obano, who became the man who had established the Unsukwa kingdom, or again, when dukedom, Amubomie. So it was a circumvent. I don't want to go through the history. I think in one of my class, I talked about it, making a comparison between the matter that happened in Iseluku concerning Ezechimen, concerning Enogie Ise, and making a similarity to Unsukwa. What happened? There were disparity between two brothers. Now, what was the issue? The issue was that one was born first, but Vabio, the issue prevailed. In short, this is the same issue when I want to address Prince Osui, who said he's a descendant of Oswanlele. It was the same issue that happened at that time, Unsukwa, that Omonodion, the first son, Amariye. It was when the then king of Unsukwa was still a young man. Then along the line, when he now became more matured, he now married and gave birth to a second son. But when he died, the second son now said that the first son is an illegitimate child. So because of that, they all came to Benin. So Benin understanding, Benin understanding that they draw references from Iseluku, that two princes, the one that was judged to be the next king was asked to stay in Benin. Why nawe hamebari ogi? We say Lukana no niario wa. That one went home and ransacked the palace, took everything from the palace and ran away to go and form a place now called Obio. Alright, it was the same similarity. So the Benin kings have devised means from past history, knowing fully well that two persons are involved. Now agakwe ne the second one no maso egbe na be hamebari yogie unsukwa no ni be gwere gbe ari unsukwa we ya duza be ne no ka we sunu e giseluku. So he was retained and we na gege pa no stay yedo, or anawe no stay yedo, or ya do stay yedo. That is not the line that transmits from Osifo Agwankana or Ogbede na be Oyo Ogbede Wayati what Ogbede Oyo Yati Ogbede Oyo Atie. Alright? So Ogbede Oyo be Abenike. So I just wanted to put that in the right perspective. Okay. No. Don't get distracted. Don't get distracted about them. Let them listen. Let them learn. All right. Like I have said, this is about fact checking. It's about he asked us to fact check him. So we are going to fact check him. So I'm just doing the preambles. So the Obasekis are pure Benin people, like I've established. So we'll go in details later. Epa Masha. Unsukwa yankiri, but Inyaka from Eduka, Unsukwa yankiri. It's just like if anybody now comes from Iseluku tomorrow, from the Iseluku Palace tomorrow, and now stayed in Benin, after a few years, and after some years, Iyase. It's the same story. They have always been Benin, right from inception. So I wanted to put that in check. I think we've talked about that in Makoni. But if there are other questions, we'll ask that. Question number 2. Review of Prince Osui allegation of Oghioba Seki. Good relationship with his good relationship with the royal house. Okay. Now let's talk about Prince Osui. Prince Osui, knowing your great grandchild in of Obavor is a scallywag. When I do a scallywag, is a scallywag.
Okay.
And hungry, pathetic fellow.
EJ.
Is an hungry, pathetic fellow. Again, know that what institute we yeke gwa. Oyo kwome. Oyo kwome. You understand? Oyo kwome. So, there is an historical grievance in his heart. Because amakwe no ne era no warioba. If truly is a grandson of Uswanlele, if truly is a grandson of Uswanlele, let me not tell you why I got here. When I could 200,000 on it, he will fight the royal house because of the historical antecedent. And I'm going to tell you. Now, just in case a lot of you people really didn't understand the life and times of Prince Idugbowa. Alright, Idugbowa becoming Obavaraman. After he became Obavaraman, he had as a young prince, as Omonorowa, as a young prince, as Omonorowa or senior prince. Again, am I there? So, at a very tender age, young age, let me not use the word tender. At a very young age, he impregnated a lady. And that lady gave birth to Prince Agwobasimi.
Okay.
Alright? Gave birth to Prince Agwobasimi. So when he now became a more matured man, alright? I'm sorry if I'm not using the right words, but when he now became more matured, I think it's a proper word. When he now became more matured, that is when he now married. And when he married, the woman now gave birth to Uswanlele, Prince Uswanlele. All right. So, everybody knows that Obavarame had 6 children. No bia yedo, no bia yisi, no bia yisima, any boom, amaye, any boom war. But the ones that he gave birth before the unfortunate episode of 1897, there were 6. 3 male and 3 female.
Okay.
The first child being Crown Prince Agwobasimi. The second being Uswanlele. For the male. The third for the male was Prince Eyigie. Then for the female, the first was Princess Eva Hawokun. The second was Princess Omono. While the third was Princess Oyimiame. Alright? Princess Oyimiame. That was it. That was the third daughter. So there were all 6. 3 male, 3 female. These were the 6 children of Obavorame. Now, again, ebodo weminia uni and all of that. Even before the episode of 1897, Uswanlele was already contesting. I'm going to read some chapters for you people. Uswanlele was already contesting because there was a message that Obavaraman sent from Calabar telling some of the British district officers that they should ensure that Agwobasimi is crowned. Because probably before he left Benin, he already knew there was a rivalry between 2 siblings. What Uswanlele was saying was that Agwobasimi was an illegitimate child. By Benin traditions and custom, you know that I'm an illegitimate child. Do you understand? So, as Uswanlele was already angry that by that virtue, don't let him distract you people. Leave him. Concentrate. You people concentrate on history. Concentrate on history. So, I'm a legitimate child. Benin does not have such traditions and custom. I'm a legitimate child. So, Agwobasimi was very clear because the age difference between Agoba. Why we call Larry? Oh. So, sorry, a call came through. Do not disturb. Calls will not start coming. So I that's when so they are not illegitimate children according to the history of Edo people. All right. So the descendant of Nswalele has always had that pain till now. So if he's talking from pain, from pain because a troni Omasiyabo awoji ahin I use oji amoba esagbonri oba oji Omasiyabo, and funny enough, Nswalele died at a very young age. You people should go and find that. He died very you understand? So this point that I have raised, there is in order to substantiate this point that I have raised, I will go further on as time progresses. I also bring another thing. When the Benichis accused that if were most of the children not biene, if were avio when he became of age again yeri yasene British yasene. Look at at the age of 25, he was already sleeping with other people's wives, according to Igbafe. All right, I became involved with another man's wife in Oghioba. In those days, to get involved with another man's wife was a very serious thing. If in case you think I'm lying, I will send you the book. The book is Igbafe called Igbafe's work called Oghioba Seki. I mean page 3 metina. So our lawyer on her Okbeno ke gwemida at a very young age or gwemida. I will find himself extremely unpopular with everyone. Life in the village became really impossible for him. So he decided to go back to Benin City and try to settle down all over again. In Benin, I got in touch with the future of Vorame. The crown prince was only too glad to take Ago, son of his former guardian Ogbedi, under his protection. So the only crime that you will later discover that was the only crime Prince Idugbowa ever committed in this life was loving Ago. You will find that the sacrifices and the things that the sacrifices that Prince Idugbowa made for Ago. So please, some of you who have dictionary, Lao, I want you to, whether it's Oxford or Webster or whatever, you open your dictionary now, so that you can open the meaning of, I don't know the meaning of betrayer and traitor. All right. So why kia? Because I already say so that you people will read it to me what betrayer means, because I don't know. So that we'll not look at Eminawoda Ovie Eminawoda Voramene Norie and made him who he was, whether it was betrayer. Then, whether in Awoda Ovie or Bavorame, whether one was treachery. So we want to look at the definition based on the background. They tell me who was protecting of the throne or betraying the throne. We have to look at all of that. So why a dictionary? So that what the definition of what it takes to be a traitor or a betrayer. You people will show me that one. Now, he was very happy now to see the son of his guardian. This was the beginning of Ago's relationship with the prince, who was to become Oba of Vorame. This relationship, which began as one of the close friendship, was to end on a note of hostility. The reason for this change is to be found in the story of Ago. Look at it. Look at what Igba first said. He said, this relationship, which began as one of close friendship, was to end on a note of hostility. Close friendship, but okay, we'll know how it ended. The reason for this change is to be found in the story of Ago's career, which will be related in this book. A few years after Ago was given protection by the crown prince, he began to engage in trade for him. In about 1888, the prince became Obavorame. Ago had a great advantage over ordinary Benin traders because he was acting for the royal house. He could trade in products like palm oil and kernels, which were often monopolized by the Oba. Because Oba owns Oba Obweki, Oba Yankee. So because he had Dweki Oba, it became excessively advantaged that you cannot compete with the Oba in terms of market. So it now became comparatively advantaged. And because of that, it became stupidly wealthy based on the favor that he has found from the royal house. All right. In return of this and other products, he received European goods like rum, matches, and salt, fine clothes, silks, and other imported goods. The center of this trade was Uwoton, the port of Benin in those days. In this trade, I will prove himself to be a man gifted with energy and great organizing ability. He worked hard and knew how to handle the men in his charge. It was not surprising, therefore, that in few years he had established himself as an extremely wealthy trader who made profits for the Oba as well as for himself. The same energy, ability, and devotion to duty which won success for him as a trader were to win him high office after the British took Benin in 1897. Now, look at it. I posted this one yesterday. It was natural that the Oba should take note of the ability, devotion, and success of Ago. Ago won the love and confidence of the Oba, just as his father had won the love and confidence of both Oba Asemede and Oba Adolo. So the crime of the royal house was loving the lineage of Ago. He became the head servant of the Benin royal house and began to settle minor disputes in the household. He received special favors from the Oba, such as the gift of his first wife. Now, Oba Voramen was the one who married the very first wife. Now go home, Oba Voramen. And the name of that woman was called Etuhun. I'm going to go to the works of Isien. I'm going to read from Isien's work later on. You also discover that it was not just Etuhun that Oba Voramen gave to Ago. He also married another woman called Edugie. Edugie Nyobe Gaius, who also we're going to talk about that some other time. So Etuhun was the one who gave birth to the first son, Agbedo, the first son of Ago, Nori Obaseki. You see the way I'm calling it? I'm not saying Ago Obaseki because Obaseki is not his son name. Bro. It was a title given to him by the Oba of Benin, and that title was created for the purpose for him. And I will tell you why that title was created. Let's move on. He received special favors from the Oba, such as the gift of his first wife, Etuhun. The giving of Etuhun to Ago's wife was only a beginning. It is one of the rights of any Oba of Benin who ascend the throne to fill vacant titles as well as to create new ones and fit these new titles into the various palace societies. The Oba also decided the seniority of the new titles in the various palace societies. I hope you guys understand. Taking advantage of this right, Oba Vorame created the title of Obaseki. Obaseki was originally not a title. Obaseki was originally not their name. Any title no. All right, a title no, just like every other title chief. The Oba also decided the seniority of the new titles in the various palace society. Taking advantage of this right, Oba Vorame created the title of Obaseki and bestowed it on Ago in 1889. The title was in recognition not only of Ago's success in trade, but also his devotion to the Oba. Now look at the meaning of the title. The meaning of the title is that Oba's favor was much more valuable than mere success in trade. Do you understand what it means? Oba's favor. Since Oghioba talk by guitar, like some people are suggesting, Edoga talk by. So many are Oba ni. Ye ni are Edo yeva. Edo Seki. So, ladies and gentlemen, from today henceforth, their name now is not Edo Seki. Edo Seki. Okay, because they no longer find favor in the hands of the Oba. They have not found favor in the hands of the Edo. So let them remove Oba. So let them put Edo there. So Oghioba talk when I get to Oba, Edo talk back, no wahala. So Oba ni already yani. Let them remove it. Because yani. So Edo Seki is not their new name. So they even betray their own son name. Exactly. So today henceforth, they should not be regarded, that family should not be regarded as Edo Seki. So, when I got Bati Veje, Edo Ze for Abat, Oghioba since Edo, Edo Ze, very well. We that love it, let them leave it for us. The Oba Seki would therefore, okay, the meaning of the title is that the Oba's favor was much more valuable than mere success in trade. Now, listen. There's something I want to say now. Listen to what Igbafe want to say. There's a secret. Oh Rema, listen. The Oba Seki would therefore be well advised. Look at it. The Oba Seki would therefore be well advised to remain loyal to the Oba if he sought to enjoy continued prosperity. I want you people to open your mind. I want you people to open your mind. I want you people to open your mind. I want you to listen. There's a secret here. Now, they were advised. Did you ask who advised them? Ask Eli for another day. But listen. The Oba Seki would therefore be well advised to remain. It was not the royal house that advised them. They went for a divination. So he was well advised. The Oba Seki would therefore be well advised to remain loyal to the Oba if he sought to enjoy continued prosperity. That is why that name, they knew the power that name carries. That is why I'm asking Nini till now. That's why I'm saying there's a secret there. So why Azio Kairina Ninita? Now, thereafter, the name Awo virtually disappeared as it became known as Oba Seki. It's surreptitiously because you know there's a power that surrounds the success. The secret of the success of the family is on that name. The secret of the success of that family is on that name. That's why they will never change it. Most of them don't even know. Okay. So, let me proceed. Having created the title of Oba Seki, the Oba put the title into the Wegwa society. Listen, look at the favor, so much favor that Oba, the royal, has did for these traitors. Having created the title of Oba Seki, the Oba put the title into the Wegwa society. The Wegwa title holders were responsible for the domestic work of the royal household and as such were very close to the Oba's person. Oba Seki not only became an Iwegwa title holder, he was also made the fourth most senior title holder in the palace society. The former title holder, Omanotiare number 4 of Iwegwa, because of the love of Rame had for these traitors, Ona stepped Chief Ehanire down. You know, Oba create a title and can also determine the position. We determine where the title will belong to and we also determine where the position. So in the case, the Oba Seki title would have been probably in the 15th position or in the 16th position. But the position, Neobamune, was 4th Originally, that position is occupied by a title called the Ehanire title.
Oh.
Oba needed to step Ehanire down so that he can elevate this guy in question who later betrayed him. And it's also, he elevated him because of the love he had for him and gave him fourth position. Now look at what now happened. The former title holder, Ehanire, was thus pushed further down. Ehanire resented his demotion. And the Oba had to pay him compensation. Oba na yasa. So that no get him because of the love he had. The love Akenzwa the first also had for this man, the Ezomo. What's the guy? Yeah. Also the love. No way elevated Ezomo. Over Chifeo. Ejoeho. So it was the same love. So Ehanire resented his demotion and the Oba had to pay him compensation before he would accept the situation. Obaseki had already started to make enemies for himself through the favors he enjoyed from the Oba. Because he had enjoyed so much favor. The royal house has blessed him too much. As Obaseki thus became an important figure at court, it was necessary that his own household should show evidence of his importance. Now that Omo has promoted him, listen, you see how the royal house showed these people love. All the royal house have done was to show these people. Not that Omo has not protected him, he's not a big man. But in the old days, you cannot be a big man. You cannot be a big man. Because on Vienna, not get a big. Look at what Obavorame did again for our. As Obaseki thus became an important figure at court, it was necessary that his own household should show evidence of his importance. In those days, a man's position in society was often measured in terms of the size of his family, the number of his slaves, and the extent of his farm settlement. To help Obaseki establish his position, the Oba made him a gift of 100 slaves, captives of war. The more the Oba showered gift on Obaseki, the closer the friendship and love between the two became. Wadameyo, are you guys listening? Then page 5. It is one of the ironies of the history of Benin that this look at what Ikpafe said. Ezomo Henwa, thank you. Look at what Ikpafe said. After all these things that Ovorame has done, look at what Ikpafe said. He said, it is one of the ironies of the history of Benin that this same Obaseki was so sick to usurp the powers of the Oba in the period from about 1900 to 1920 before he died. You know, he died in 1920. Look at what Ikpafe said. Haven't done all these things. A Prisidugbowa onado rescue onado mwanswenki onado adwekine. He made him a rich man. He created a title for him, the title of Obaseki. Then elevated this, put him at Iwegwa and elevated the title to number 4. And okay, title when you are not a big man, by virtue of being a big man, okay, we are 100 of Vienna, after all of that. Look at what Ikpafe said. It is one of the ironies of the history of Benin. Ironies. That it is one of the ironies of the history of Benin that this same Obaseki was to seek to usurp. Godwin Obaseki said that without our Obaseki, there would not have been Benin monarchy. But look at what Ikpafe said. Ikpafe said, Professor Ikpafe, a reputable historian. Look at what he said. He said, it is one of the ironies of the history of Benin that this same Obaseki was to seek to usurp, not to strengthen, not to preserve, but to usurp the powers of the Oba in the period from about 1900 to 1920. That is what Ikpafe said. We are coming back to Ikpafe. Let's go to Tona. It's small paper. Oh, blow F1. Where's my small paper? Where's my small paper? Oh, can you have a page? Okay. Okay. Let's go to Benin City Pilgrimage Center. Let's look at what Dr. Aisha Hagosa had to say on this matter. We have heard from Igbafe. We are coming back to Igbafe. We are coming back to, but let's go to Benin City Pilgrimage Center. Let's also listen to them a little bit. Why will on Benin Pilgrimage page 52 to 53. Some of you have the book. You can follow me and read. Let's look at what happened on page 52 and 53. Okay, I'm just going to read few places out. Okay. On page 52 of the Benin Pilgrimage written by Dr. Aisha Hagosa, go to paragraph 1, 2, 3. Paragraph 3. Look at what Dr. Aisha Hagosa said. Based on Abesini Bafeta, the Evinawu, Evinovora Meuna, or my fo, ne Ibafeheni, Enyata, or my yefo. Look at what Dr. Aisha Hagosa also said. Uswense ne the royal house ne awo. The house where he stayed is still standing and inhabited, though for the most part not derelict. It is number 10 Ekpenede Street. It once belonged to a citizen who died childless during the early years of the reign of Oba Vorame. The Oba inherited the property and then gave it to one of his favorite servants, Awo. Look at it. The first house that Awo ever had is Oba Yane. Only Wiani, it's your Wiani.
Betrayer is not a betrayer.
It's not their own.
When the man you betray the Kabaka.
Since you have a so that their property are number 10 Ekpenede. So what Aisha Hagosa is saying is the first house I will ever had. The same of Vorama the first house you ever had. What are you? The Oba inherited the property and then gave it to one of his favorite servants, Awo, who was his agent in the waterside trade with the Shekiris and the Europeans. On occasion, let me leave there. Now, I'm going back to page 53 now. You come back to the second paragraph. He had his first son, Agbedo. You know, in the works of Igbafe said the first wife of Awo was betrothed to him by Oba Vorame. Now, Ehagosa Fodali said that it was not just only one wife that Ovorame gave to Awo. He actually added another wife, and that the name was, he had his first son Agbedo by his first wife Etuhun, betrothed to him by Ovorame. And later, another son, Gaius Ikoba se Yemen, that's the full name, Ikoba se Yemen, by another wife, Edugi, also given to him by the Oba. This son later became an Iyase of Benin, like his father in his time. So, we have established that even the house, the first house I will ever had in Benin, Oba Yane, all right, Oba Yane. So, his two wives. No be Ikoba se Edugi we Etuhun Oba be Yane. We are listening. Essay no, so that let them show one essay near the royal house. Let them bring one favor from history, from historical book near the royal house. According to Godwin. So let's go to page 68 to 69. Let's still on Benin City Pilgrimage Center. Garewa. A nice one. No, let's leave that part. That was not too important. Let's go to page 84 to 86. Let's go to page 84 to 86. This is the most important part. All right, this is the most important part. Very important. So let's go. Let's read together. Page 84 to 86 by Benin City Pilgrimage Center. All right. Let's find that. The principle has always once been seriously challenged in Benin since the last 300 years. That's the principle of primogeniture, father to first son. That's what he was saying, because, I'm not reading from the beginning. So I don't have all the time. So those who have the book can go and read it, because Dr. Aishen was making reference to what traveled during the time of Obaya Wakbe. So that's why he's starting. The principle has always once been seriously challenged in Benin since the last 300 years. This happened during the colonial era. The effort, which was quite determined, was a clear departure from and an attempted repudiation of Ewakbe enactment. It was hashed and promoted by the British colonial resident of Benin Province, Mr. James Watt. Now, please, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, those names called James Watt, Memia Fone, James Watt, we need to remove James Watt, where the people not Zagedo using our Obaseki. Now, James Watt ought not to exist in Benin Kingdom anymore. We have to do a protest. The likes of Cooks Road, Naite Cook Road, James Watt, Plymouth. These were the people, most especially James Watt. These were the people that brought the kingdom to their knees, and they still have a street named after them in the heart of Benin City. We have to change that. We have to change that. We have to change that, old woman. Mr. James Watt, when he unsuccessfully pushed and at first reticent Chiefs Obaseki candidacy forward for the Benin throne at the demands of Obavorami in Eze and Calabar early in 1914. The reasoning was that the colonial resident of the sister province of Warri had his chief Dohu Numan. Alright? Dohu Numan. The fulcrum on which the native administration of Warri province turned at the time, Jeswant in turn desired to retain his own Doronuma of Benin province in the person of Chief Agu, the Obaseki of Benin, in the administration of the native affairs of Benin province. It is true that Chief Dohonuma, the Shekiri chief, who was so important in the running of the native aspect of the administration of Warri province during the first 3 decades of colonialism in Nigeria, and who died in 1932, played some role in the resolution of the succession struggle for the Benin throne in 1914 between the Crown Prince Agobasimi and Chief Agu, the Obaseki, but his role was peripheral and dispensable because a firm decision on the matter had already been taken before Doho arrived on the scene. What Dr. Aishen Ehagosa is saying that it was Doho Roma that was invited to also be to mediate between the crisis that was happening. But however, the matter had already been resolved. That matter had already, even before Doho came. Now, not knowing that, Ago had traveled to see Dorenuma in Warri district to bribe him. Alright, you bribe Dorenuma. No, because he heard, because he was a friend of the British. He had heard that one of the person who is going to mediate on this matter will be Dohonuma. So now I get a bribe on it. I'm going to read it now. You're going to see. On I bribe on it. On I no ni go in favor of him. Na me oba. But before ni kere, his fate had already been decided. The meeting at which his fate was decided is stated in Igba First Work. So we're going to go back to Igba First Work and look at where that fate was determined before Dohonoma come. But let's continue. All right. Chief Dohonoma arrived in Benin probably during the first half of April 1914 through Saple, the Benin-Saple Road, which construction had been embarked upon by the new Lagos government in place of the more ambitious. I don't want to run. I don't want to run through any tangle. Though entered. No, those are too long. Okay. The Shekiri chief had a meeting with all the Benin chiefs. The venue was Chief Obaseki's palatial residence, the Ogbe Obaseki by the Uzebu Moat, crossing at the western end of Urogotodin High Street. The two contestants for the throne. Look at it, oh. The two contestants. And it was see me here. The throne. The two contestants of them. the two contestants for the throne, Crown Prince Agobasimi and the Obaseki, the host of the meeting, were in attendance. So Aidu Asimi, don't also forget, I will also read that a letter that Crown Prince Agobasimi wrote to King George. King George, no law, no bunyeri, that Obaseki and me and throne. We are all going to read that from Igba first work. Yes, he wrote. Agobasimi had to write to King George in England, had to write to Oni of Ife, had to write to, I think, Emir of Kanu, had to write to prominent traditional rulers. We are going to read that from Igba first work. All right, but let me proceed. Okay, the host of the meeting were in attendance. The findings of the Commission of Inquiry into the matter in dispute, probably the one conducted by Colonel A.C. Morehouse at the instance of Governor General Lugard, were already on hand. Doe had a copy of the report, probably handed to him by the colonial officers in Benin. He asked a clerk who was in attendance at the meeting to read out the conclusion of the report. The findings confirmed that the Obaship of Benin was hereditary, passing from father to eldest son. Rhetorically, Doe asked the assembled Benin chiefs whether they were in agreement with the commission's findings. The chiefs confirmed that the conclusion represented indeed the true position of things. After this affirmation from the chiefs, Doe repetitiously pronounced in favor of Agobasimi, taking Ken to be seen to be working in tandem with the government on the matter. Doe then informed the assembled chiefs, listen, Wadameho Esese. Doe then informed the assembled chiefs that Chief Obaseki had brought him 200 pounds shillings. Sterling. 200 pounds sterling. 200 pounds sterling. Listen, Doe, the security chief, then informed the assembled chiefs that Chief Obaseki had brought him 200 pounds sterling. He would keep the money, he said. After all, he was from the Benin royal family, being a descendant of Ijinwa or Baolua's first son. He was therefore deserving of a gift from Chief Obaseki, which gift should probably be regarded as a moha, a sustenance item for the Benin royalty. I will explain that one. It was said that when he arrived home, the Shekiris conferred on Chief Doho Numa a praise name for his success on his Benin trip. As serious and as menacing as this Obaseki episode was, the attempt was not able to upstage the Ewakbe enactment made 200 years earlier. The enactment held that such was his resilience and the depth of his root in the culture of the people. Obavorament's acknowledged Ederson succeeded him to the throne of his father. Now, give me a guy need to ya bribe when a guy ni 200 pounds sterling. Not a gwezo in favor of him making Arioba. All right, or if failing the Ichekiri chief also now came out and said that a guy not had only 200 pounds sterling. He only again that he only order nevaza, he only beyaza that money or beyaza that being that Oviedo him by ancestry. So again bribing money. Obaseki do yi money as a prince or Benin in his own right. Do you understand that Iwo Nigbeyaza? So now, someone who paid 200 pounds sterling for a case to be in favor of him, his great-grandson, 120 years later or so, came out and is telling the Benin people that without his own great-grandfather, they will not have been Oba today. The man who wanted to destroy the kingdom, his great-grandson, 120 years or so later, is coming to tell the Benin people, of which he wanted to destroy, that without his own great-grandfather, that kingdom wouldn't have survived. It is an irony. It is an irony. We are not done. Let's go to Igbafe. Let's go to Igbafe. Gary Igbafe. Am I done? Let's go back to Igbafe. Let's start from page 23, 23, 24, 23 Oroduhun, 24 Ariyeke, 25 Yaro. Then there's a page 20. There's a page 18 to page 20. Okay. Page 19 is okay. On that Igbafe's work, on page 18, this is what was written. The way the opposition, you can go and get it, page 18. The way the opposition went to work was to begin a secret movement. Now, let me explain, because all of these things are going to take time if I keep reading it verbatim. Now, in 1906, something happened. Oghioba Simi started planning a coup against, listen, Oghioba Simi as a prince started planning a coup against the British. They wanted to find a way to take back the throne. They wanted to find a way to fight for what he was looking for, a way to find it. So he started lobbying people across. He started a movement. So he was able to bring a lot of chiefs into it. They convinced them. They all keyed into it. And I mobilized. And mobilized so that to take back our throne. So there was actually the Benins at that time actually wanted to fight for the throne. So they were mobilizing, headed by Oghioba Simi. They were mobilizing. They were was mobilizing and mobilizing and mobilizing and mobilizing and mobilizing. Then I made a mistake. This event happened in 1906. Then I made a mistake. What was the mistake? Then I went to tell Godwin Obaseki. Godwin Obaseki. They now went to tell Agonori Obaseki. When they told him, Agonana sat down and said that if Obavorame returns, Akpa Nebomu Yegbe, because he was not the most respected chief, he was not more of like a king, he was going to lose it. Do you understand? The Benin's have mobilized, they have strategized, are mobilizing. Even I had a big takeover back the kingdom. I know you people have never heard this story. It happened in 1906. They have fully mobilized. When I had taken back the kingdom here. But what happened? Then I invited Obaseki that Dode Baima. Ovorame is your best friend. Ovorame in Calabar. Let's find a way to take back our kingdom and bring back a royal father from Calabar so that he can take back his throne. They thought they were talking to a confidant, a friend of Obavorame. What now happened? What now happened? You people listen.
Tell us.
Page 20. And so Obaseki refused to join.
Aye.
Having refused to join, he and three other chiefs, three other chiefs, Olele Duzani, Obayongbon and Iyamu and Ayobahan, informed. Listen, if this is not a betrayer, I have said several betrayers. This is another betrayer. The Benis are now strategized. We have gathered how to go and bring our royal father back so that he can come and sit on the throne. So I'm not to inform Obaseki, but when Obaseki go home, he waited that all the favor, all the largesse is now enjoying for a white man. He had to lose once Ovorame who has. I've told you all the things that Ovorame did for this guy. Be the judge of this matter. Then I informed him. After they informed him, he went to bring 3 other chiefs. They now went. Look at what Igbafe wrote. He said, having refused to join, he and 3 other chiefs, Oba Yagbon, Iyamu, and Ayoba, informed the district commissioner about the movement. The British reacted quickly. Troops were poured into Benin in September 1906, and all the villages concerned once more submitted. Tribute which had not been paid, because you might have paid tribute to Gebo, because the tribute in here mobilized. Then I had a big takeover. The tribute which had not been paid was not paid, and what looked like a political rebellion was crushed.
Hey!
Was crushed. This act, is it sustaining of the throne or betraying the throne?
Betray!
I didn't say it. It's page 20 of Igbafe's work on Oghioba Seki, called Oghioba Seki. But my folk, who are what for now?
Marema!
I that's when I time 12 o'clock. I zo boy. But my me. Who are what for now? Oh yeah for. You listen. Or 7 or 7. Or 7. He said we should fact check him. How many betrayers have I brought out? Is it not up to 3 already? 23. Oh, my laptop battery, and I need this laptop. I need this laptop. There are some facts. No, who will laptop in that? Nah, viola there. Oh, laptop do not mess me up. Then he plug it. It do anyone. I have yeah. Huh? Okay.
Do you people now know the meaning of betrayal?
It's page 23. Okay. It's page 23, 24, then 25. Okay, 23, 24, 25. Okay. Let's also look at some things here. Okay. You know, when I was reading from Dr. Aisha Ekhagosa's book, you know, I thought about the Honuma. That before the Honuma had come, one I bribed with 200 pounds sterling. You people remember what I've just said. When the Honuma has gotten to be, that's when the Honuma realized that the case Niate the judge Agwezonine. Remember I talked about it. In Ave Ezoni Naguini in favor of Oghioba Simi. Igbafe talked about it. Now this is what I want to read, and I want you to pay attention to me. Naya Gwezoni here. James Watt, this is page 23, so I cannot read everything. James Watt did not immediately take a decision. He summoned Oghioba Simi, Chief Eson, Chief Ezomo, Chief Eo, and Obaseki. So the meeting that brought the comments back, here I say, or do a meeting, Oghioba Simi, Obaseki, Chief Eo, Chief Ezomo, and Chief Eson. They were 5. Now, ladies and gentlemen,
go ahead.
I want to give you another breaking news. It was not only Ago or betray Bini people. Ezomo with the bar. Oh, God damn it. Ezomo with the bar. What the Ezomo the bar. They should go and contest with book. They should leave Izodua. I don't do propaganda, I do fact. All right. Now, when we are also recommending and clapping for people who stood for the transition, when you call Ero, Chief Ero, also be calling Chief Eson. Please, a son should be added to the hero of this land. A son of that time stood with his king. You'll find that now. James Watt did not immediately take a decision. He summoned Obasimi, a son, Ezomo, Eho, and together with Obaseki to yet another interview to discuss the situation. Surprisingly, this time, Obaseki answered in response to the question of who should be Oba, because he was asked, who's supposed to be the Oba? And he was prepared to do anything the commissioner directed. So, in anything, Nebotama, he was ready to do it. As far as giving the power, he's giving the throne. He was backed by Ezomo. So Ezomo supported our Obaseki. Ezomo supported him. So he was backed by Ezomo, who said that even, look at how worse. He thought Ezomo was more terrible than our Obaseki. Look at what Dario. Ezomo of that time, Omawe Yokuo. You know, I've always complained about that Ezomo. Now, look at what this Ezomo said. Another verse is Ago. Look at what he said. He was backed by Ezomo, who said that even if the commissioner decided that a woman should become the Oba, he would be ready to accept such an Oba.
Can you imagine?
What the Ezomo? Ezomo of that time said, James Watt. Na ya mu na go ba si mi. Amu no huo. Ohuo. Ye koyo. Unu Ezomo redo. Unu Ezomo redo. Even in Ayamu na go basimi, gwa gamu no hu okpa na Ayamu na go basimi. Anything e boriri kai. Yeri obobai. You understand? He was backed by Ezomo, who said that even if the commissioner decided that a woman should become the Oba, he would be ready to accept such an Oba.
Can you imagine?
Chifero and Eson, however, stuck hard for tradition. Only the late Oba's eldest son, he should be, only the late Oba's eldest son, he told the commissioner, could become the Oba. Eson and Eru were standing. Eson and Eru were standing. They stood their ground. Oghioba Nuhundan, Orioba. That is what is missing in a lot of Benin elders. I mean automatic. Many Ezomo we ahi, when I go we ahi, they cannot be. Area why me we do ni boom. O wan get go godun gon. Ya akpobo. Then ya when Ezomo we akpobo, we akpobo le lago. Look at. After Obaseki's clear stand at the private interview earlier on, his wavering stand at this public interview is evidence that he was already responding to the temptations of acquiring the supreme office in Benin. So it was no longer a news. It was a public glare that he wanted the throne for himself. It was no longer a baby. He wanted the throne. He wanted the throne for himself. He was probably secretly advised by other chiefs who were relying on him. Should he become Oba to honor them for nearly 20 years, he had been accustomed to giving orders. So other chiefs now, almost Orioba, because Ogasu wobo always see my bo. You see greedy Benin chiefs? It ain't de greedy. Corrupt set of chiefs. Where Agobasimi was fighting for his right. Let me proceed. Page 24. Most perhaps to think that he would want to stop giving orders and begin to take orders. So his pain was that he that was already the Obaseki's pain was that he was already giving orders during the British colonial rule. He was already giving orders. So if Agwoba Simi now becomes the Oba, he will not be taking orders from the small boy. I will not take order from him. He's supposed to be taking order from me. Why me gonna I tell you get one so do ya gwan avini ya gwan. Don't worry have no ria. Dem more time. It be your time. Begin to take orders from Oga, who was the rightful candidate for the throne. Power was beginning. This is what Igbafe acknowledged. Power was beginning to corrupt Obaseki and to tempt him to want to break Benin tradition. Look at what Igbafe wrote. He said power was beginning to corrupt Obaseki and to tempt him to want to break Benin traditions. James Swart, still anxious to do what he could do for his loyal servant, refused, even at this stage, to reach a decision, even when it was clear that Agwoba Simi Oriva. James Swart James Swart name needs to leave Benin land. James Swart, still anxious to do what he could do for his loyal servant, refused even at this stage to reach a decision. He continued to investigate. He asked the Oni of Ife and other rulers their views about the succession practice in Benin. Meanwhile, Lugard himself ordered an investigation into the matter. At the end of all of these investigations, even James Swart was forced to recommend that Agwoba Simi should succeed his father as Oba. Although tradition thus triumphed over personal ambition, Agwoba Simi's victory was far from easy. He himself realized that Obaseki was seeking to take throne from him. Listen, I said something like this. Now, he said, although tradition thus triumphed over personal ambition, Agwoba Simi's victory was far from easy. He himself realized that Obaseki was seeking to take the throne from him. He wrote petition. Agwoba Simi na yagbe petition. Ona yagbe petition. Ya lo banigbe. Ya ago lo egbe. He wrote petition to King John V, praying that monarch to help him gain his father's throne. He appealed to Ooni of Ife and other traditional rulers in Nigeria so that they can use their influence to help him. In a sense, look at Igbafe now. What Igbafe wrote. He said, in a sense, it was pathetic to see a prince of Benin reduced. In a sense, it was pathetic. Listen. In a sense, it was pathetic to see a prince of Benin reduced to begging for the throne that was his by right. Do you understand? Let me read again. He said, in a sense, it was pathetic to see a prince of Benin reduced to begging for the throne that was his by right. That situation was evidence of the powerful position which Obaseki had built for himself. Now, why if you me ate kompa me o me company ate ma wa ate ni get tiva ya tie mani bo avie we ze vie where me oh ya na go na Agwoba Simi the people that are saying that they didn't betray the throne ya tell ya coming they said they didn't betray, that they protected the throne. Okay, listen. On 20th April 1914, this was the point I was trying to give. Why we should never count Awo as an Iyase. Why we should never count Awo as an Iyase. This is the point. This is the point that I want to read. On 20th April 1914, Agwoba Simi was formally installed as a Daiken or Oba-elect. On the same date, Chief Obaseki was given the next highest title in the Benin political system, that of Iyase of Benin. The British district officer in bestowing the title on Obaseki said that he was giving Obaseki the title owing to the good work he had done for the government during the past 18 years. The British, having stuck to tradition in declaring Agobasimi Oba elect, broke tradition by giving the title Iyase or chief advisor to Obaseki instead of allowing Agobasimi when he became Oba to give the title to whom he thought fit. Now, listen. Ede na install Agobasimi as a Daiken was the same day the British man Iyase na wo. Nidi ivie yo bore. Listen. The same day Ede na ma Oba amai ma Oba regeni the same 22nd of July Ayari Oba. Now I'm talking about 28th of April. April, May, June, July. That's 3 months before. Okay, do Rioba. And then I'm my Daken. And there a British even my awo. Iyase.
What am I?
And there I'm my Iyase. So how is awo na Iyase?
Iyase na kuye kawa piya.
How is awo na Iyase? You people should tell me. How is Agona Iyase? Because the day na moba Oba to be then I might die ken. Ederio Amago. Amu Iyase na ho. The British people. The British people.
What are they all?
The British people. So why is it now? Why is it still? Why are they still referring to Ago as an Iyase? I do what this day on forward refuse by historical record to recognize Ago as an Iyase.
Ago, Agbodoyo,
because Obama is Iyase. Me no read glad. Me no where first and the last Iyase, the UK would do. Do you understand? So how is it not Iyase? So if he's not an Iyase, how is he qualified to marry 2 princesses? He did. You have a ton when you are, you know, a princess Oyiname and princess a boss. That time. Okay, princess a boss and oro. Oh, yati wavia. Why worry? I'm coming. Now, on 22nd of July 1914, again, Agobasimi was at last installed as Obaiweka II. Okay, thank you. On 22nd July 1914, Agobasimi was at last installed as Obaiweka II. Some sources in Benin say that Obaseki, who had already become Iyase, did not attend the installation ceremony. Somayo. And then I install Obaiweka. Omayo.
Wanisha 4+4. Wawe se o. Wanisha 4+4. Wawe se.
Mayo.
E posto. Dore kinusi o. E posto Oghioba weleri.
Okay.
Asun.
Omafo.
O women na.
Wa de emotional. Me ati kompa ma wa beli wa ati e. Eh.
Oghioba ye
So emotional.
Oghioba.
I even wrote it. If you say I used Barrow to write something on this page, I don't know whether you guys can see it. I actually told myself that I was not going to read it, but I will read it. Why we? I will read it. I have my reasons. The people need to know. The people need to know. I will read it. I actually wrote it on the head of the paper. I said, don't read it. But I'll read it. I'm sorry, I will read it. I have to read it. I have to read it. That many but I will read it. Oh, the answer of aside this. Do you want me to tell you how Yana Moge you want work out Baha? Number one lie that this Agobaseki lied on top of his head was that he killed one of his wife. That he was doing human sacrifice. One lies upon lies upon lies upon lies on top of his head. That at a point in time, Adoya changed at a point in time, Oba was forced to be attending St. Matthew's. Because all were amoge young where Oyawe human sacrifice. Whereas they lied on top of his head that one of his wives he used her for human sacrifice. Only for them to not discover that the one of the Oloi had eloped, ran away from the palace and married and went to marry one man, one Urobo man in present day Delta State. All because of he was fighting for his rights. That's your drive, man.
Generation down. Waonia. A nice way.
Now, when I was reading when he was growing up, when I was reading when he was growing up, there was a part that the Europeans had actually believed. Okay, let me read this part. Let me page 31. It was too much to expect that all this power would not go to Obaseki's head. As a result, Obaseki grew arrogant and very dictatorial. There was one occasion when Obaseki even questioned. Listen, there was one occasion when Obaseki even questioned the Oba's right to give judgment in a case in Siloko without consulting him. Even as the city Oba, I will question Ezon Agui with Siloko because he was not the head of Benin City district. The Siloko district in Matekai, but Ezon Obabe Agui with Siloko, head district of Benin City. Ezon Obabe Agui with Siloko. I will not be with that. I will wear Mado consulting with Agwezoni. There was one occasion when Obaseki even questioned the Oba's right to give judgment in a case in Siloko without consulting him. Yet Siloko was not in the Benin district, of which Obaseki was head. Even the British were forced. Even the British were forced to admit, at least on one occasion, that Obaseki had grown certainly most dictatorial and arrogant in his behavior. Then let me read something. You know, when I was reading that, when he was growing up, that was when he was young. Now he's now an old man. Look at an accusation. The chiefs now petitioned him. All right, look at the sort of petition that was written against him. Page 31, let me read. In 1917, that was 3 years before he died, Obaseki decided to become a Christian. All right, we cannot say whether Obaseki was genuinely converted, or whether he was just playing politics. Anyway, until his death, he attended St. Matthew's CMS Church in Benin. Obaseki becoming a Christian raised important issues for the Oba. It meant, for example, that he could not participate in the palace rituals, which were regarded as non-Christian. It was a matter of grave importance for the Yase to not be absent from important palace rituals. Did Obaseki become a Christian just to embarrass the Oba? That's the question in Bafe. because on geso na do wegwa without the ya say I do geni. So you na ba wetin ya dagme no sa. So that nega do geni amane do geni, it has an implication against the Benin people. We cannot say, however, in 1918 the Oba tried to create a crisis. He refused to perform the opening ceremonies of the New Yam Festival. All right? Because the Oba refused to do this, the ordinary people could not perform their own ceremonies. This meant that the yams could not be harvested. This began to create hardship. So now, in response to Unyime and Obaseki, Oba now also said that during Igwenyewe, but it now had, and there was now, yeah, tired. Emina do alog if do. All right. Emina do alog if do. Emi log if do. No, you people started it. Let me not get it. Emina do alog if do. All right. Emi log if do. Then there was now an issue. On that particular festival in Obanami where the British now forced him that he must do that particular festival. Then the British, they now forced him. Look at what happened. Let me read it. The British officers refused to accept. Oba was trying to explain to them why he didn't do it. The British officers refused to accept the Oba's explanation and not only forced the Oba to carry out the ceremonies. I want you people to listen. Yes, very sad. Yes, very sad. The British officers refused to accept the Oba's explanation and not only forced the Oba to carry out the ceremonies, but also made him publicly apologize to Obaseki. Publicly carry out the ceremony, but also made him publicly apologize to Obaseki. This was perhaps Obaseki's greatest triumph, the Oba Benin apologizing to his Iyase. This would never have happened but for the British. The Oba had no choice. Listen again. The Oba had no choice. Not only did he apologize, he even went as far as demonstrating his reconciliation with powerful Iyase by giving his daughter Princess Ebose in marriage to Obaseki. Do you understand? When they tell you why Obaseki, why the royals gave one of their daughters to Ago, this is the reason. This is the reason. This is the reason. Look at it. He said, not only did he apologize, he even went as far as demonstrating his reconciliation with the powerful Iyase by giving his daughter Princess Ebose in marriage to Obaseki. That was in 1918, 2 years before he died. So, Obayeweka giving his own daughter, his own first daughter to Ago Obaseki was it as a result of love? It was as a result of tragedy. Was it as a result of love? See it for yourself. See it for yourself. Have you seen it? So will they not come and tell you? Will they come out and tell you that it was out of love? That the palace is lacking ya. And honor you, we are not doing it. That's what I've said. It was not out of tradition. By level of tradition, Ago is not an Iyase. I proved it. Haven't I proved it? You have embarrassed the throne. Then one guy who studied classics in University of Ibadan is not telling that it was Ago. That is the reason why the throne was protected. Then you think I is Oduwa. We keep quiet and not challenge him. That these were these were the sins of Ago. They should provide their own evidence how Ago protected the throne. These are the sins of Ago. Let me conclude Igbafe's work with this. Let me just read this place for Igbafe. Most of the petition was, however, directed against Obaseki. Some of the chiefs were angry, so they petitioned the white people because when they have now saw all the things that he has not done by publicly ridiculing their Oba and by also forcing the hands of the Oba to give his first daughter to him and all of that, they were not very angry. So they not petitioned. Most of the petition was, however, directed against Obaseki, the Iyase. The chiefs complained against a system which the Iyase virtually ran the native administration alone, to the exclusion of many other chiefs who deserved to take part in the running of the affairs of the kingdom. They brought particularly charges against Obaseki. Obaseki then, they claimed, levied private tribute. They said he said levied private tribute from towns and villages in his district. All right? So he was levying communities to be paying money monthly. He forced these villages and towns to provide free labor. He forced these villages and towns to provide free labor to build his houses and to farm for him. He used his personal servant as government agent and sent them out to the villages to collect tribute of forced labor. As president of the native court, he abused his office. In particular, the chiefs claimed he was in the habit. I want you guys to listen to this part. When Kagwankai from the beginning, when Igbafe said, well, at age 25, look at, this is now an old Ago, but this was the allegation that the chiefs in Benin land leveled against him. Leveled against him. Look at what they said. He said, they gave the names, okay. He said, in particular, the chiefs claimed he was in the habit of granting divorce to women. He was in the habit of granting divorce. He was in the habit, he was in the habit of granting divorce to women and then proceeding to marry those women. So, why divorce women? Or what goes over? These women, the chief did not just make vague charges. They gave the names of wives of Obaseki who had earlier been divorced in his court. When they talked about free labor and so on, they mentioned the villages concerned so he was also harvesting other people's wives. Outside knockout at the age 25. As an old man, harvesting other people's wives. That rounds up the conclusion of Igbafe's works. Let me quickly extract something from Iyase's work to round up all of this. Page 199 to 200. Okay, 199 to 200. Look at a particular part I want to read. After the departure of Ovorame to join his ancestor, I will set his eyes. This is Iyase's book. All right. So, after the departure of Ovorame to join his ancestors, I will set his eyes on the royal kingship title, hoping that with the support of the white administrators, he would be crowned Obawo, or with some other choice title. His wife, Oimiame, who had by marriage become the last honor of Ovorame bestowed on his age-old friend, Obaseki grieved greatly at her husband's attempt to rob her brother of his birthright and use the backing of the white ruler. So, while Ovorame was still in Calabar, he felt that his best friend was still protecting the interests of the throne. So in 1912, Onawena Alagbodo, which was Princess Oimiame, Nariye, Nosiye. You see, Idugbowa was deceived, Obavorame was deceived by Awo, even till the day he died.
Oh.
So in 1912,
Hello, boy.
asked that Princess Oimiame should be married to his best bosom friend.
Okay.
It was not that Prince Oimiame now that was now having married Awo Obaseki was not crying. Look at what Iyase wrote. His wife Oimiame, who had by marriage become the last honor of Ovorame bestowed on his age-old friend Obaseki, grieved greatly at her husband's attempt to rob her brother of his birthright. Oimiame na ega so now why, which is Agoba no lao. Otien or Rioba or Baso Egbe Ea Yena Wien. Oimiame grieved. Grieved.
Wale Riviere. Wabdaneonia. Et ils ont dit, ouais, mais soin. Oh, mais soin. La même petite, la même petite, ah, ouais, il est bien, ouais, des pattes, on ne peut pas. Et c'est qu'ils ont pas, ils ont bien soin. Ils ont bien soin. Et ils ont dit, on a vieux là-dedans. On a vieux là-dedans. Wabé devenu 4 plus 4 aussi.
Obaseki caused problem when he lied.
You do well, though. We don't know what it means.
Benin Royal Museum, Mowa, I've not been talking about it.
You do well.
But when he crossed the line of lying, coming to social media and lying against the history of this land, like I said, I will come out with facts and evidence. The books are all there. Let them provide their own books. We ask all this why. But the day Obaseki came out and said that his own traitor great grandfather was trying. Do you want Edobe Awegwan can Gaius? That is his own grandfather. Oh God. Where's the matter here? Now, the question that I want to ask, the question,
do not give her power.
The question that I want to ask,
you do well,
which I need an answer for.
Thank you.
You know what they are trying to paint is that Obaiwai the second is the problem. But I want to prove to you people again that Obaiwai the second is not the problem. I want to prove it. Should I prove it? They have always said that it's Obaiwai the second that is the problem. Well, it's not the Obaiwai the second. I want to prove it. I want to prove it.
Nothing when you do for Isaiah. If not be Isaiah, who knows somebody? Who know you?
I want to prove it.
I want to get a swear now. I get best one.
Yeah, sir. Let me prove it. Since 1897, 4 Obas have reigned. Let's say since 1914. Obaiweka II, Akenzwa II, Obairidiawa, and the current Oba Obaiwai II. Each of these 4 Obas have had one problem or the other with the Obaseki's family. Each of these 4 Obas, each have had problems with just one family, the Obaseki's family. Statement of fact. Wayazio kainita mwana. Each of these 4 Obas, Eweka II, since Ovorame enabled that family, Eweka II, Akenzwa II, even Obairidiawa, only that Obairidiawa used wisdom. And I will also tell you the story now, shortly. Use wisdom. On you say no man a snowball. Then why? So now you're not saying Obaiwa is the problem. When Gaius gave Akenzwa II problem, it was also Akenzwa II that was the problem. When I will give problem to Eweka II, it was this when the generality of Obaseki's family had said that Obairidiawa wanted to give the title of Obaseki to another family. And that title was not hereditary. Obairidiawa was coerced to eventually not give them as an hereditary title. Because to put that matter, the matter had started during Akenzwa's time. So, but he snowballed again during Erediawa's time. In order for Erediawa not to, it was very peaceful. It was a very peaceful king. Neither he didn't wanted it to snowball. So he gave in to them and made Obaseki an hereditary title. 4 Obas having problem with just one family, Obaseki's family. So you are saying Obaiwa is the problem. You are very stupid. You are very stupid. You, your household, and your entire family are very stupid for coming to my program and saying your Oba is very good. How? You fool. You've not been listening to what I've been saying since. How? 4 Obas. Was Obairidiawa also greedy that he had a problem with the Obaseki family? Was Oba Akenzwa II also greedy that he had a problem with the Obaseki family? Was Obaiweka II also greedy that he had a problem with the Obaseki family? You fool. You're not there yet, Osas Gold. When I explain why they can never leave that name, I've read a page. There is a mystery that is engulfed on that name that makes them very successful in life.
All your people for Awushi, they enjoy. They collect appointment for Bokpeworo. They enjoy the government. All important appointments now on a place today. Now we don't get one.
So how come Baruda Maima? How come they had? If it is this one that is the problem, how come the same Obaseki family had problem with Obairidiawa, had problem with Oba Akenzwa II, had problem with Obaiweka II? Answer that question. You people should answer that question. The same family.
You do well, Osomole. You do well. Only one family.
It's not retrievable. Hereditary title is hereditary title. Those are the rules. Those are the roots that guide. It's not retrievable.
Dr. Oghioba Pedro. No, that's why that's where. It's not one nice one kebe. A nice one kebe. Testing of the making EJ.
Is there any other thing that they said that I've left out? Is there any other thing that I have left out? So you people will let me know if there's any other thing that I've left out concerning history. So let me trash it. I don't want anything. I want to trash everything. If there's anything that I've left out, please let me know. Now they talked about the withheld salary and politics. Why I heard one someone said, why do Oba Bini get involved in politics? At the beginning, I have said it that I put a question out. I put a question out for free. I put a question out for free. Tell me the name of any Oba who has reigned in Benin Kingdom that has not gotten involved in politics. Tell me the name of any Oba. Let me make it easy for you. From Oba Vorame up, when we were a sovereign nation, the Oba has always been the political head of the Edo people. So that means Oba himself is politics. So now, let me take it closer. From the little ones you don't know. Akenzwa the second. Sorry, Eweka the second. Akenzwa the second, right? Bayere Diawa. Then Obaewa, right? During the reign of Obaeweka Otorioru in 1933. The kind of politics that was in vogue was a colonial government politics, and which at that time Obaeweka was highly involved in the politics of the colonial government. That's a statement of fact. That means he was a politician in its own right. Then let's come to Akenzwa II. Akenzwa II led a political movement that led to the emancipation of Midwest referendum. He was also a politician. 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 Osas E, show me the book you read it. Provide evidence. Show me facts, not be cho. I agree, but show me book. Accusation against Ago is written in books. So that's the difference. We don't speak rhetorics. Bring the books. It's facts. Bring facts. Bring facts. And show the books it was recorded. Let's be dealing with facts. Anything not having a source is show. Narumo. You understand? Narumo. Anything when not the book at all, Narumo. So anything na magbe who are I believe ya who went to Wazwa. Let them bring books. Agbon who recorded it, because you cannot tell me. In short, this was as E. I heard that your father slept with a younger sister to give birth to you. This was as if not buried that era all over care or tune no see me anaya beware.
Hey, Matue Mama. Yeah, well, me yere line.
La ote que si la erudima la o maniwe sogba la o erudima la o ibia mama ade story na ima ya de down na won na wo na ya na ya du Even in a done history now, they got here, except to a woman for a beating or Satan. Understand now, hey, you one of my way, I have fed you allow. Oh, la baba. Take it easy.
Where's it?
Every year, one year, no, very like, now,
All right.
you understand?
Where's it?
Go.
Oh, we may want women now. Oh, I know you may have me at the vest now. Also, me I know me. Ime again, we ya waga ni me kiri yo. Ya iwe ne again we ya digest ne man again me ya sun me.
So what evidence do you have? Bring evidence. That's what we want to hear. Not be cho. Evidence did. So I think I've answered that politics. So Oba Benin, I have said of the 4 Obas since we lost our sovereignty. All right? Since we lost our sovereignty, every Obas have participated in politics, right? So that's statement of fact. So Obaiwai, whether you call him a politician or not, he will participate in politics to protect his kingdom. So I've answered that one. All right? Now, with third salary, I want to answer that one. That it already 1 billion, it already 2 billion, it already 3 billion, it already 4 billion, it already 5 billion, it already 6 billion. Okay, I want to answer that one. Let's put it this way. Let's be expository in our thought formulations and patterns. Let's be expository in our thought. If they not provide evidence, it means say not the book, not be evidence. Only after me area or Indian or a matter so let's provide evidence. The withheld salary. This is a question. I'll ask them a question. If they answer it, if they're able to answer it, that means they have answers to the question. Now, the Enigi are the appointees of the Oba of Benin. Just like commissioners, SSA, SA are the appointees of Godwin Obaseki. During when Godwin Obaseki was the governor, look at it though. During when Godwin Obaseki was the governor, I heard, I'm not a politician, I heard that he distributed more than 500 to 1,000 letters of appointment to different SAs and SSAs for over 1 year. He didn't pay them salary. Don't forget, SAs and SSAs are appointees of Godwin Obaseki. Just like Enigi are the appointees of the Oba of Benin. Do you understand? Appointees in Yabahin. Obama appoint you Nogi. Let nobody deceive anybody. They are appointees. When I say a ye or commissioner, I say commissioner, I chiefs or a commissioner. When I say your SSC. So Obaseki gave more than 500 to 1,000, I heard. Oma pay a salary for over 1 year. Now, do you think being appointees, giving an appointment letter without salary, that it is justifiable for SSA or SA to petition Godwin Obaseki to President Buhari or President Tinubu that being that we are his appointee, or ma pay my salary o run dani federal government why pay FAC you go no federal government here na te pay Edo state government why pay Edo state government here. Do the SAs or the SSA have that right? Do the SAs and SSAs have that right? Nobody should call anybody Oghioba here, please. I'm also that's my fifth thing that we have to address, that propellers with strategy on the Oghioba tab. This is strictly academical. All right? Okay, if Idu Owubu, if it is yes, why didn't the SSAs and SAs that Godwin Obaseki gave letter for 500, over 500 to 1,000, why did they petition Obaseki to President Tinubu or President Buhari? If it's in the constitution, yes. Beautiful. There is no constitution, any gazetted constitution, anywhere that states that the Oba of Benin must pay salary to the Enigi. There is appointees. Just like there is nowhere it is written in any constitution that the Oba of Benin must pay salary to the chiefs. The way Obaseki can sack his commissioner, the way Obaseki can sack his essays, is the same way the Oba of Benin, by traditional law, can sack his Enigi or its chiefs. Asioni I even know ya wo. Asioni I ultimate battle for man we worry. I asked a question. I didn't see your question. You understand? So, if Obaseki could own salary and not pay people who were constitutionally elected as House of Assembly members, constitutionally, you know, commissioners are not constitutional. It can hire and fire, just like the Oba Benin can hire an Enogi and fire. Let's use the same idea that paying them salary is of the free will volition of the Oba of Benin. Is of the free will volition. There is appointee. Just like you cannot hold Obaseki responsible for not paying any of his commissioner salary or any of his SSAs or SS salaries for that period of the time that he gave them an appointment letter. So when I suspend any genania, and I may salary. A Godwin you pay your salary.
When a Godwin you are paying,
if you love them that much, with all the money, no go. When you are paying, I be go get you ne. If you love them that much, this is now he has to show them more love.
When you are paying,
or have a meet and greet in me. No volume. There's volume. If there's no volume, let me know. You understand? So I will meet and greet me. Many are donation because I like having any guinea. Let them do donation. Now pay any guinea salary. Because the one who appointed them, or me money and paying salary. So many have you here. Let many of you see here, when you paying salary because they are his appointees, just like the way Obaseki had appointed those SSs and SSs and he didn't pay them salary for almost 1 year. I had friends. He have a letter packet on my appointee and nobody took him to court. Nobody arrested him or nobody petitioned him to the president. So it's the same law. The Nigerians are appointees of the Oba of Benin. He can hire and fire. When I mean fire, that is suspend. Because it's a hereditary title. So he can hire and fire. He can decide to say, for doing this or doing this, I'm not going to pay you this salary. And it is his choice. If they don't want that, you no genamun, you go and drop it. I think I've dealt with that. I've dealt with the issue of salary. I've dealt with the issue of politics. Okay. Don't mind now. Everybody knows that Atifam will nourish your hand. That shit has nothing to do with politics. That shit has nothing to do with politics.
Adun stated that Godwin Obaseki should come to Benin City to explain himself instead of staying in the diaspora and be throwing stones to the exalted kingdom. He said Benin Kingdom is one of the oldest kingdoms in the world, adding that any form of aspersion to the palace of the Oba of Benin is an affront to the entire people of the kingdom.
The palace was created almost 400 years, and that's the next one. If you want to talk, let me come to Nigeria. He doesn't have anything to say about the Oba Benin. Oba Benin is everybody's father. Everybody's father. Now we want to go to talk to our Oba Benin anyhow. They speak a drama there. No, let it come. If you come and talk in Edo State. He said that their father made the kingdom there. It's a lie. Their father, it go beyond the boundary.
The boundary. Wow. The father.
Nobody in there.
No, I'm
Chief Adun lauded the developmental strides.
It will be good for you to look beyond your office, because you are not going to be there all the time. It's good to look beyond. You see the elder statesman there, Chief Seki Oghioba, was a governor. He's not anymore now. Everybody knows that it's transient. Everybody knows. But you look beyond. Look at the bigger picture. Look at how one day you can also sit and be, when you are no longer the governor, everybody can still give you respect. More respect even.
Pastor. Is the highest. Seki Oghioba Nuhundan. For the market. Our market. Borigena eminata ebudena buena or defwa. What am I not defwa? Look beyond. Omarie, Apu Udo Marie. Look that we really do it. Agbodoyo. Any other re owa popopo. Owa popopo. Oh, what's your basin? Oh, yeke. Oh, yeke. Yage, I didn't need as a nigga. Yage, Uyogwe ya Mogiaria. Uyogwe Mogiaria. Mani found the ho. No, ya, ho. And no give all any of here, governor, ya no even. Omaka, Mama, ya deba a group in my manner. I mean, Nuyari can. I mean, Nuyata man. And I mean, we no give or on do ya deba group away. And I deba group away. Oh, where you go on with Mogging Ariane. But I man we mogging area. I imagine my view way, especially a no girl. Eh, Mahia doa digwenia. Ne babala no look into the matter again. No look into that matter. Oda when you make pataki or ye do we London. E have any geni ke any anon sorte. If you do ale we rize. You do rize we meet Oghioba people. No wado. But if you no girl, here we are quit. Here we are quit. Here we are quit, Amadeba. I had it now. If when we say your family, do that. When you walk here, I go. Walk here, I go. I give you the name. If you don't go in,
it will be good for you to look beyond your office, because you are not going to be there all the time. It's good to look beyond. You see the elder statesman there, Chief Seki Oghioba, was a governor. He's not anymore now. Everybody knows that it's transient. Everybody knows. but you look beyond, look at the bigger picture. Look at how one day you can also sit and be, when you are no longer the governor, everybody can still give you respect, more respect even.
I didn't respect again now. Abi, I respect. Okay, bad man. Wow, we're saying here, I was saying Oghioba. Osagima, we say Oghioba. Osagima, we say Oghioba. Ena ya fe de kabaka we say na tin asuma ya gboge hotel. In asuma. Pardon.
La moi speaker we abumo.
Gumezo bone. Ya tiwe. Okay, we say.
It will be good for you to look beyond your office, because you are not going to be there all the time. It's good to look beyond. You see the elder statesman there, Chief Seki Oghioba, once a governor. He's not anymore now. Everybody.
Hello, mommy yo. Domosa. Iwedo Koyo.
Yes. You do online?
Yeah, they're online. I'll call you back.
Yes, I don't even know. So you do online?
Yeah, they're online. I'll call you back now.
All right.
All right. Yeah.
It will be good for you to look beyond your office, because you are not going to be there all the time. It's good to look beyond. You see the elder statesman there, Chief Seki Oghioba, once a governor. He's not anymore now. Everybody knows that it's transient. Everybody knows. But you look beyond. Look at the bigger picture. Look at how one day you can also sit and be, when you are no longer the governor, everybody can still give you respect, more respect even.
Berry. Omariye. Ateta. Omariye.
It will be good for you to look beyond your office.
All right, thank you all, and see you all for the next broadcast. Thanks for watching, everyone. Oyawese, thank you. More updates tomorrow. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock, Zodo will live and direct in Olakoko. Many updates they will want to discuss, and see you for the next broadcast. Thank you.